Hello everyone and welcome. Today's video is all about plotting, but I'm going to talk about the first of the 7 plots, Overcoming the Monster. Now the Overcoming the Monster plot was identified by Christopher Booker, who was the author of The 7 Basic Plots, Why We Tell Stories. This book suggests that every story we've ever encountered is one of only 7 plots. I will also make videos on the other 6 and of course applications to Dungeons & Dragons game writing and other TTRPGs. What I talk about is always very transferable. Right, back to Overcoming the Monster. So this particular narrative focuses on a hero or group of heroes who face and ultimately triumph over a supervillain or monster. The monster can take many forms. It could be an actual creature, a force for evil, or a tyrannical ruler, for example. The plot tends to resonate with people because it reflects our need to overcome challenges or adversity. Simply put, we want to read about stories where the hero succeeds and defeats the foe because we would want that for ourselves. Because of its flexible structure, the Overcoming the Monster plot is ideal for fantasy storytelling and tabletop RPGs, including Dungeons & Dragons. To show you how exactly this narrative structure fits with D&D storytelling, I'm going to outline its 5 stages and show how well they align with encounters or plot lines that are common in all fantasy TTRPGs. Anticipation stage and call. This stage introduces the impending doom, danger, threat, whatever you want to call it, and signals the beginning of adventure. It establishes the stakes and provides a clear reason for the heroes to start their journey. Off the top of my head examples include a world-ending threat, oppression, and a castle or fortress under siege. All of these are reasons players are answering the call to help. The anticipation stage could begin in the bustling tavern, where over some ales, hushed whispers of a foul beast reach our players. Alternatively, a mayor pleads with the heroes to save their town from destruction, or the adventurers encounter signs of the monster's destruction for themselves. A raised village or tracks leading into a dark forest. Tips for dungeon masters or game masters. Use vivid descriptions to set the tone. Is the monster a giant dragon that's turned the sky black with its wings, or a shadowy creature haunting a remote village? Hook your players emotionally. Maybe the creature has kidnapped someone important to them, or has in their possession something they need. Introduce NPCs who remind the players of the high stakes. Dream stage. Our heroes are optimistic and everything seems hopeful. They're doing things such as gathering information, acquiring new weapons, and forming alliances. Think of this stage as a time of growth, excitement, and even camaraderie, as your players feel they are rising to the challenge. In D&D, the dream stage can involve the players seeking out an ancient mage who knows the monster's weaknesses, or venturing into a forgotten dungeon to retrieve a wondrous weapon. It can also include side quests that benefit their preparation, let's say. Tips for DMs. Provide opportunities for the players to explore and strategize. Perhaps they discover the monster is vulnerable to a specific element, or they need a magical artifact to defeat it. Add some more light-hearted social encounters to balance the tension of the upcoming battle. Reward creative problem solving. If the players have great ideas, give them inspiration. Frustration stage. The turning point comes when the heroes or players face the monster, or get a taste of its power. This is the first time they feel the challenge is far greater than they anticipated. This stage forces everyone to confront their fears or limitations. In a D&D game, this could be an initial encounter with the monster where the party is forced to retreat, or a series of smaller, grueling battles that leave everyone battered and shaken. Maybe the players realise that their initial plan won't work and they need a different approach. Tips for DMs. Use this stage to create tension and suspense. Perhaps a villain or monster has a power the players weren't expecting, or it has useful resistances. Introduce a ticking clock. Maybe the monster's influence is spreading faster than hoped, or a ritual concocted by a powerful witch or warlock is empowering it. Don't necessarily go easy on your players, but avoid outright annihilating them, unless it serves the story. For example, if the party loses, perhaps an NPC rescues them, which gives them time to come up with another plan. Nightmare stage. This is the darkest hour of the story or adventure. The monster's power is at its highest and all hope seems lost. The heroes face overwhelming odds and the situation feels, well, hopeless. However, this is also arguably the most exciting part of the game, the showdown with our supervillain or monster. In D&D, the nightmare stage may take place in a monster's lair, a foreboding castle, hint hint Strahd, a dark forest or the ruins of an ancient temple. The environment itself could be as dangerous as the monster, filled with traps or minions. The heroes may suffer losses, whether it's a beloved NPC or their own equipment and resources, but there is that key moment of reversal where victory is snatched from the jaws of defeat. Tips for DMs. Make the lair memorable. Use detailed descriptions to create a sense of dread. Perhaps the walls are lined with skulls of those who dared enter before them, or the air is thick with dark magic. Design a dynamic battle and keep players on their toes. You could give the monster unique abilities, or legendary actions for example. Allow moments of character growth. How do the characters or players react to the pressure? Do they rise to the occasion, or do they get a little frustrated? The thrilling escape from death and the death of the monster. Did the heroes triumph against the odds and win in a spectacular fashion, or by the skin of their teeth? The story's concluded, or is it? Is this the point where you transition to a new chapter of your adventure, or start a brand new one? In D&D, the aftermath of the climactic battle is where the party reflects and regroups, be it how they handle slaying the monster, banishing it, or finding a way to seal its power. Their victory should feel very satisfying and quite the achievement. Tips for DMs. Ask players or characters how they feel. You can do this with NPCs or as a narrator as you describe the closing scenes. Let player creativity shine. If they use clever tactics, reward them by letting them keep any loot from the lair. Offer a satisfying resolution. How does the world change after the monster's defeat? Is it a cause for celebration, or does the victory come at a cost? First steps and outlining. But how do you even begin to write an overcoming the monster adventure? Never mind coming up with the ideas. Fortunately, I'm going to quickly run through how you can make the first steps. When it comes to building your world and villain, is the monster an ancient evil that has awakened after centuries, or a newly arrived threat, wreaking havoc? I'd recommend using character backstories to make the threat personal. Those backstories can also help a lot with ideation too, so see them as a valuable resource. For opportunities of exploration and discovery, use rich world building. What are the buildings made from? Is the main location a thriving metropolis, or a remote enclave atop a mountain? The imagery you draw upon sets the tone and vibe for the adventure. Additionally, create NPCs players can interact with, write lore they can uncover, and piece together the monster's history and weaknesses. All of these steps help with the development of side quests too. This will all pay off in the dream stage, where players are optimistic and making plans, and are keen to find resources and interact with your world. Next, think about pacing. The frustration and nightmare stages build suspense and force players to think critically. This is the ideal point to use combat encounters, puzzles, or even moral dilemmas to challenge them. With the climactic showdown or battle, if that wasn't clear, make it big. Incorporate environmental hazards, unique monster abilities, and opportunities for creative play. Let your players feel the weight of their decisions leading up to this moment. Finally, write a good ending. It's harder than you think, so approach this stage with care. What I suggest is, set up your adventure for a satisfying conclusion. Is it a cause for celebration, or will the outcome be a bittersweet victory? Either way, let the players thoughtfully comment on their journey. If you're after more Dungeons & Dragons storytelling tips, I have plenty of videos where I show you how I write adventures and how iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters, no matter how complex they are abiding to some form of structure. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that my videos reach more people, just like you. Anyway, that's all for today folks, and I'll see you in the next one.